Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. So today I am going to talk about leaving your family and friends and living with your significant other or husband. And I'm going to just share my experience with y'all and also like what I'm currently going through and everything like that. This is kind of just a heart video, so not really a lot planned as far as what I'm going to talk about, but I'm going to try to stay on topic, so just bear with me. If you do like this video, be sure to give it a thumbs up and please subscribe to my channel. But as always, let's get started. So as far as what I'm going to be talking about, I'm going to start with what I dealt with whenever I first left my family. And when I first left my mom, it was like the hardest experience of my life. And it was really, really hard because I never experienced that leave home thing yet. I mean, I went to college and I lived about an hour and a half away, so I would just go to college and then I would go back home on weekends and like see my family and stuff like that. And so I never really got that I'm leaving feeling. And so first thing that I want to say right here is that if you are in college and if you are in high school, really, really, really enjoy those moments, because I get some emails saying like, I miss him, I'm so sad. And as I totally get those feelings, and so I want to validate your feelings on being sad, you are surrounded by people your age, you are surrounded by family and friends, you are surrounded by people who care about you, who are the same life stage as you, and you can like literally look next to you in class and see someone. When you leave your family and when you go and live in a different state, it is so much harder to be a military wife. And so really enjoy the time that you have in college and in high school, because it is going to get worse in not like a bad way, but just like the emotions that you feel are just going to escalate. So really enjoy the time that you have right now. So anyways, the day I left my family, was again really, really hard because I have a really close relationship with my mom. And I remember me and Connor not seeing eye to eye on this because he had left 2 years previous to that, because he had left to go to boot camp. And so he had left his family and he had left to go live his own life in the military. And so he was kind of already done with that stage. Whereas me, I was just starting this stage. And so it was really hard for us to connect and for him to understand, but he did a really good job. And so men out there, I encourage you to listen to your wives if they tell you that they're struggling with this, because it really, really helps for you to be there and try to understand us. So anyways, so on that day, I probably cried because I'm the crier in my family, and so I cry almost all the time whenever I have to leave my family. So I cried whenever I left, and I remember going to San Diego and just feeling so alone. And I was not a new military wife, but me and Connor had lived apart for a year for me to finish college. So going to San Diego and living with him for the first time as a military wife was so new to me. I didn't know San Diego was a big military place. I didn't know that there was an FRG. I didn't know that there was a community of military people. I didn't know any of that stuff. Like, I had literally started my YouTube channel a month or two before that, so I didn't know about military communities whatsoever. So it was like a totally, totally new experience to me, and I felt like alone. I felt like I just want to go back with my family. And you feel like so torn because you love your husband, but you don't want to live with him. You want to live with your parents. You want to just go with your parents again. And it's like this tearing feeling. And I get that a lot in emails of like, just like feeling like you have cold feet or feeling uncertain of marrying them because you don't want to leave your family. And that is completely normal to feel like that. Completely normal. So yeah, I felt like I just want to go back home to Texas. I don't want to be here in San Diego. I don't want to feel alone and blah, 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 and all that stuff. But then after a few weeks, me and Connor started to develop our own routines. We started to develop our own habits. We started to eat dinner together. We started to brush our teeth together. Like all of these things we started to do together, and San Diego became our home. And the more you develop routines, the more that you bond together and connect together as husband and wife, you start to realize that they are your primary family now. And that was a really hard concept for me to kind of wrap my head around at first, because in the Bible it talks about whenever you get married, you leave your family and you go with your husband. And the order of important people and priority in your life is God, husband, family. And it's really hard to make that transition, because when you love your family so much and you've spent years with them, it's like, I don't want to leave them. I don't want to go with my husband. But the more you create routines, the more you realize that your husband is your family. He is your person, and wherever you're at is your home. And I started to realize, like, the more that I grew in my relationship with Connor, and in like going and visiting places in San Diego and cooking at our home, that I realized when I went to Texas that I just wanted to go back to our home in San Diego. And even now when I go back to my house in Texas, I just want to come back to my home in Washington, because I think this is my home. Washington is my home. It has my apartment, it has my dog, it has my clothes, it has all of these things that my house in Texas no longer has. I don't have clothes there. I have to pack clothes to go there. And so it was just this huge transition of, they are not my primary family anymore, and I do not consider that my home anymore, which is so hard. So just know that all the feelings that you are feeling are natural. The anticipation leading up to you having to leave your family is just like the anticipation of your significant other going on deployment or going on a long, like, underway or training or whatever. It's like you are so scared. And then when they do it, when they leave, it's like, okay, now I can grow. Now I can focus on myself. Now I can, like, do all of these things to preoccupy my time. Like, you start to grow once they leave and start to be less sad than the anticipation. It's the same thing with leaving your parents. You leave them, or you are so scared to leave them, you leave them, which is so sad. And then now is your time to grow and, become one with your husband and develop a home of your own and just be like a wife and a future mom and all of these different things that you get to call yours now with your husband. So yeah, it does definitely get better. But currently now, my situation is, I still consider Washington my home whenever I go back to Texas. I think I want to go back home to my house, but I still cry almost every time I leave my mom, because we have a really good relationship. And there was this one time where I told my mom to never do this again, because it was like extremely sad. She dropped me off at the airport and she like went inside with me. So she parked her car, went inside, and she waited with me while I was going through security. And as I was going through security, and then like I went, through security, she was just standing there like watching me. And then I reached the other end and I looked back and I like waved to her and she waved back, still standing there watching me. And I was like, oh, you were cutting my heart, mother. Because it was just so sad how she was just like watching me leave, and it just kind of shattered my heart because it was so sad. So now I tell her, do not wait for me. Like, just please do not, because it just breaks my heart. And I just want to start crying. So just again, me and my mom have a close relationship. And so the first few years probably of leaving my mom is going to be sad, because I just love her so much. But I'm sure eventually down the road, I hopefully will stop crying. I'm like hoping I will eventually. So yeah, I don't know if I was rambling or if I like actually made a point, but I do want to validate you guys and let you know that it is okay to be scared to leave your house and to have cold feet about marrying your husband because you don't want to leave your family, or being sad or scared the first few weeks of living with your husband because you just want to go back home and see your family again. And so all of that is totally natural. But know that once you start developing routines and habits with your significant other, it gets so much better. Like, I honestly don't really think about missing my family when I'm here. It's only whenever I have to leave them in Texas that's whenever it gets sad. And I do, of course, like miss them all the time, but it's not like I want to go back home. Oh my gosh. Like, it's not these heavy emotions on my heart. So know it will get better, and know that living with your husband will be an amazing thing that you will love and cherish, and when you go back home you will want to come back. So yeah, again, I don't know if I answered that question. I just shared my heart, so I hope my heart was good enough for you guys. But yeah, if you still have more questions, you can always email me and share with me your hearts. But again, be sure to like this video and subscribe to my channel, and I love you guys so much, and I will see you guys in my next video. Bye bye.